And now let's go to three different African countries and find out headlines from three different newspapers. Stay with us, don't go away.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
All
Well,
right.
today we're going to Somalia, Angola, and Zimbabwe.
All right.
So we're starting from Somalia, where we'll be reading from the Hiran online newspaper.
Okay.
And the headline says, Committee says deal reached on electoral deadlock.
Okay. Interesting piece. Let's hear.
It's a deal. A technical committee meeting in Baidoa has announced and called for an urgent meeting between federal and state leaders to finalize the agreement and pave way for elections.
Right.
The 14-member team appointed by federal and state leaders said Tuesday night all the contentious issues had been resolved, but did not provide details on how they will be addressed.
Okay.
Now, the three issues are the appointment of the Federal Indirect Elections Team, FIET, Somaliland Elections Team, and the Ghetto Question. The Du Samareb meeting early in the month said President Mohamed Farmajo had agreed to reconstitute the FIET and tax Deputy Prime Minister Madi Goled and Senate Speaker Abdi Hashi to jointly appoint the Somaliland Committee.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, Hashi has since declined the offer and demanded Somaliland sits in the talks as an equal to other federal member states. But the ghetto question remained the most contentious, pitting Farmajo and Jubaland President Ahmed Badobi, both of which stood ground on control of elections in Gabahare. Now, elections for the 16 seats in Ghetto region are set to be conducted in the capital, Gabahare. And the technical committee proposed that the federal and state leaders meet on Thursday, February 18th, to finalize the deal and clear the way for elections.
Okay.
Well, there's a story coming from the Hiran newspaper from Somalia. I think
Okay.
talks underway for a peaceful transfer, also looking at setting committees up to ensure that elections that will be conducted are done properly.
Yeah. Very, very important. I mean, yeah, everybody knows the importance of having a peaceful election during, before, and after the elections and what have you. So, very important that talks are being held and seeing the way forward.
We're reading from the Jornal de Angola newspaper in Angola, and the headline says, State slims to be more efficient. Now, the state seeks in this new phase to abandon the role of entrepreneur and focus on priority activity. To this end, it defined and implemented the privatization program 2019 to 2022, also known as the ProPriv, through which it will reduce state spending, develop the national economy, and focus on the development of the country. Well, ProPriv also aims to develop the health and education system, the infrastructure, and promote the creation of more jobs through the sale of state assets and holdings, and also by promoting investment factors that represent an effective gain for Angolans. So, in the revised implementation schedule, in view of the economic challenges that was posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the program that has been defined for 2021 and 2022, which is the transfer in favor of the private sector of an annual average of 70 companies or assets. Now, so far, 36 assets have been divested, and a revenue of 355 billion kwanzas is expected to be raised from these. The projects are located in the sectors of agriculture, industry, and real estate. And according to the Institute of Asset Management and Participation of the State, which is IGAPE, the 36 assets represent a strategic factor for the maintenance or generation of new jobs. And the privatization of assets has enabled the maintenance and generation of around 3,000 direct and indirect jobs. So if you look at the textile unit alone, whose process is actually ongoing, the expectation is to generate 600 jobs in Luanda, 1,300 jobs in Benguela, and another 1,500 in Kwanza Norte. Well, it looks like a good thing, the fact that the government seems to cut off certain things and then also sell off some assets to be able to privatize others and make enough to be able to develop the country.
True.
And the economy.
All right.
We're moving to Zimbabwe, where we'll be reading from the Newsday newspaper, and the headline says government threatens more restrictions as anxiety swells over Chinese vaccine.
Oh, COVID matters. All right.
Well, the government yesterday warned citizens to brace for more movement restrictions in light of the highly fatal and fast spreading South African variant of the COVID 19 virus, which now constitutes 61% of new infections in the country.
Okay.
This has raised questions about the safety of the Chinese donated Sinopharm COVID 19 vaccine, which is set to be rolled out in the country starting tomorrow. Now, in a post-cabinet press statement yesterday, government said security checks would be further intensified throughout the country in order to enforce compliance with the prescribed lockdown measures. And Cabinet wishes to inform the nation that results of the genomic sequencing recently conducted indicate that the type of COVID-19 virus that the nation had in 2020 has receded. There is now a 61% dominance of the new South African variant of the COVID-19 virus, which spreads faster and has a higher fatality rate. Not really the best of stories coming from the Newsday newspaper in Zimbabwe, but that's all we have for you for headlines across Africa.
Nice. Log on to africaglobalradio.com for more news items from different African countries.